Welcome to the second episode of the Shawcroft Family History Minutes. We're your hosts, Rebecca and Alyssa, and we'll have a lot of interesting things to tell you today about your ancestors. Now, you may be wondering why I'm talking in a Scottish accent, or you may be wondering why I'm just talking plain weird. Hopefully, you were thinking the former, but as I obviously do not inherit the ability to talk like a Scot, I can understand why you might be thinking the latter. Although, I would hope that the bagpipe music might help you.
Alright. As you can probably guess from our introduction, Alyssa, I think, did a pretty good job with the Scottish accent, considering she started working on it a day ago. Pretty cool. Better than I would do. Anyway, we are talking about some of our ancestors who are from Scotland today.
Bum, ba-da, bum.
Got it. All right. So we actually have a lot of Scottish ancestors. So many. And we're just going to cover 2 lines and then show you how they meet up. So first we're going to be explaining just kind of the area. It's kind of fun to see the areas where these people are that we're talking about. If you look at this little map and see the area that's circled, Inverness Shire is what it was called.
Inverness Shire.
Sorry, Alyssa will say it correctly. This is the area that one of these lines are from, the Mcbean clan. And we'll talk about them some more in a minute. One thing that's kind of fun to note is that if you can see inside that circle, Loch Ness is right in there. And we looked up kind of the dates of when the Loch Ness Monster, that story started circulating, and it was about this time period.
It was like a little bit before.
A little bit before, like 1100, the 11th.
I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, anyway.
I don't know.
Just about, the story was definitely circulating during this time period that we're talking about.
So they knew to avoid the loch.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they knew to avoid the loch. All right, the second area that we're going to be discussing is down in the bottom, Edinburgh, which is right here. And that area is more of the leadership area, the capital of the Scotland area. And the second line that we're going to be talking about today are actually kings of Scotland. And we have direct lines through some of the kings of Scotland.
Alrighty. Here it is.
And once again, I have sent all of these documents and pictures and everything, emailed them to you so you can print them off and look at them in more detail because
They
it's
might
long.
want to do that.
It's very hard to see all of this. So we are going to start off with this person right here. That's the Bean clan. Sorry.
Wait, these got mixed up.
Oh, it's okay. You got it.
I thought the bean was over here and that one was over there.
Anyway, here we go. So we're going to be talking about this line, and this line is actually so fascinating. If you start in on Family Search and start exploring these lines that lead off from James the First, King of Scotland, Alyssa and I were blown away yesterday as we were exploring how far back some of these lines go.
Far back enough that we kind of started to doubt the validity of them. I mean, it's fun to see it go back that far. It's just so cool. It just kept on going and going and going. And just because they're royal lines, like there's more documents and genealogy taken of them. But I must say, once you get back to BC and you're starting to see names like Ares and Zeus.
So apparently we're related, come directly from Zeus and Ares.
You know, I mean, they don't exist, but...
But that's what the people believed back then. So
True.
It's kind of interesting. Someday when we get to meet these ancestors to find out the true stories.
So
it'll be
how
interesting.
that actually happened? Anyways, so the validity is questionable once you get back that far. That's the point we're making.
And so that's why we chose to start.
I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
But if you want to go and you're bored and it would be really fun, you can go look at those lines and decide for yourself what you think once it comes when you can decide how accurate you think they are.
But so much fun. So much
Yes.
fun. But we decided that starting with James the First, King of Scotland,
James the First,
which
King of
is
Scotland.
the grandchildren's 21st great-grandfather, that this information on is accurate. Enough documentation showing that. So, Alyssa is going to tell us some stories about James the First, King of Scotland.
So, this guy's cool. And I must say, it's really cool to be able to go back far enough that it's like your 21st great-grandfather and actually have stories on them, which is part of the reason why it's so cool that we're related to this royal line.
He was born in 1394. So a really long time ago.
1394.
Yes.
Yes.
Continue on.
Aye. Anyways, so this guy, James the First, he lived at a very interesting time when there was a lot of unrest, and so it wasn't the safest place where he was in Scotland. So he was actually, at the age of 11, he was sent to France to be somewhere that's a little bit safer and also to be able to continue his education there. Unfortunately, he never got to France. On his way there, his ship was attacked by pirates, which also, I want to know more about that. Like, that'd be, well, not fun, but cool, but not cool at the same time. Anyways, so he was captured by the pirates and then handed over to the King of England. And the King of England was like, cool, I'm not going to return you to Scotland. And ended up keeping James captive for a long, long, long time.
And part of the reason why he was kept in captivity for so long was that his father had died and an uncle had taken over his reign since James was in England. And so that king wanted to keep his power, so he never offered to ransom his nephew, who was the rightful King of Scotland.
Aye.
So you hear things like that happening in the movies and stuff, and that's exactly what was happening, this intrigue of different people wanting power.
Yes.
And so that's why he was in captivity for 18 years.
Yes. Stories and movies don't come from nothing.
It's true.
Yes. There has to be some truth to them. Anyways, so he was in captive for 18 years. But it wasn't all dull and dismal because he met his true love there. Anyways, so they were relatively nice to him while they were his captive. He was their captive. There we go. So they continued with his education, and from what it looks like, they treated him not terribly. Anyways, and then he actually was able to become a very good poet and musician, which was interesting. Well, actually, we have some poems from him. Anyways, there might be more. I just don't know it. Anyways, but he... Where's the picture? Oh, thank you. While he was in captive, he met a lovely lady. Anyways, so one of his poems that we're going to show you in a minute was actually written about this girl, Joan Beaufort. You can decide the pronunciations. They will come from your imaginative minds. Anyways, so just imagine you're in a tower. You're a captive in a tower, but you're not Rapunzel. Anyways, so you're there. You have a little teeny tiny window that you're looking out of, and then you see a girl walking along. Or if you're a girl, imagine you're seeing a boy walk along. Anyways, so this girl is walking along, and she passes by your window, and you can see her for just a second as she goes by. And she's walking this little teeny tiny lapdog, and she goes the same route every day through the gardens, and slowly you come to love this girl. Anyways, and so Joan was a royal, and so she was at one of the castles that he was being kept at the time. He moved around to a bunch of different castles. There was one point when he was actually at Nottingham Castle, so that's kind of interesting. But met Joan. That's the point. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Anyways, so they fell in love, and it's so cute.
Forgot the rose.
Oh yes,
Best part.
the best part. Best part. Seriously, best part. So One day, as Joan was walking along, James dropped a little rose through the window, and then the next evening he saw her wearing the rose at dinner. Ta-da! Anyways, cute. So, oh, thank you. Anyways, so I said I would read you a little bit of the poem, and here you go. Hopefully you won't suffer long. Anyways, bewailing in my chamber thus alone, despaired of all joy and remedy, for a tearet of my thoughts and woe begone, unto the window gain I walking high, to see the world and folk that went forby. As for the time, thought I, mirthous viewed, might have no more to look, it did me good. Anyways, I have no idea what any of that means. I just
Definitely written in Old English.
I know
Scottish.
enough to know it's written about her, but I don't know anything past that. So if you want to try to decipher it, let me know once you figure it out.
It's online.
It
You
is.
can find it online.
Just look up James the First, King of Scotland, and King's Choir poem.
Which is pretty cool. That your
Yeah.
21st great grandfather wrote a love poem that is still available for us to see
Yes.
today about your 21st great grandmother, which is pretty
And then
cool.
the other best part, besides the rose in the poem, is that when he finally was able to get out of captivity and they were arranging his ransom, part of the ransom actually was an arrangement for these two to get married.
Pretty cool.
Which I-
True love story.
Yes, isn't it cute? Anyways, so your turn.
All right, so that's the story that we're going to focus on that line. So if you look down, once again, you'll have to look, but I have it notated. This Isobel Bailey is the person that connects to this line that we're going to talk about now. When she married Aaron Angus Gilpatrick Mcbean, who was the 10th chief of Clan Mcbean. So you can look
Clan
and see
Mcbean.
where those lines join
Clan.
into each other.
Clan
So
Mcbean.
now we're going to talk about the Mcbean family, the Mcbean line, and we don't have a lot of stories. We have names, but not stories of the Mcbean family, just because they weren't royal. They were different situations. But it was kind of interesting. I wanted to understand a little bit more about the clan system. The clan system started in early ancient times of Scotland. And the word clan comes from Gaelic, meaning family or children. And generally these clans consisted of family groups. Sometimes they would have other people, but mostly they were primarily family groups. And the clans were generally that they lived off the land. They raised cattle. So cattle raising maybe that came from the Mcbean clan, who knows? Spread in our blood to the Shawcroft blood, but kind of cool. And the clan system was a very volatile system. They were constantly fighting over disputes over the boundaries of each clan, fighting over whose cattle is whose. It was a very volatile system, which the clan system was really prevalent clear until the early 1800s, so it was around for a long time. Some fun things about clans, though, is they had their own tartans. So we'll show this picture. As you can see, Alyssa and I are wearing our Scottish plaid today. Each clan would wear a certain tartan, a certain pattern that helped other people distinguish and know which clan they were from. They also had a coat of arms. This is the Mcbean clan coat of arms. And it says Kinchley down here because that is the name of a town.
It's Kinchild.
Kinchild. That is the name of the little village that this group of Clan Mcbean lived in. So that's why that's there. But they had a coat of arms showing. And yeah, Alyssa will bring that forward. This will be in the documents I send you. But what's kind of fun is they had different mottos. So the motto for the Mcbean clan is...
Touch not a cat, but a torch.
They liked cats. We're guessing they fought a lot of wild cats.
Or maybe they tamed wild cats.
Maybe. Anyway.
Something about cats. I want to ask them someday.
But basically that means don't fight a cat unless you have a shield. That's basically what that means. Kind of interesting.
A targe is a shield.
Yes, a targe is a shield.
Oh, the other thing that's fun. Oh. So, this is a picture of Mcbean Memorial Park. And it's super fun. And there's also cats on it. I don't know if you can tell. It's really hard to tell even just like staring at it. Not over a camera, but there's like little one here, little one here. Anyways, and then there's like a little plaque thingy here that like talks about them. Anyways, but it's super fun because we should all go to Scotland and go visit Mcbean Memorial Park.
Which is there, and it's actually located on this map right in that area of Inverness by Loch Ness. And you can actually go and we could actually see where these ancestors of ours lived, which is pretty cool. So what's interesting we wanted to point out with this Mcbean family is, first of all, that Aaron Angus Gilpatrick Mcbean, who was the 10th chief of Clan Mcbean, married Isabel Bailey from the King of Scotland line. So that's how they meet. And then we wanted to point out this William Mcbean that is right here. He was actually the reason why this group of people, this family line, ended up in America. So during that time, this was in the mid 1600s, and it was a crazy time in the history of those British countries. There was 11 years worth of civil war that was going on with Scotland, Ireland, and England. And it was a really difficult time period of that area of the world. And most of the wars were being fought as trying to do away with the monarchy system. People were tired of having just a king that tells them everything to do.
And then also, part of that is they were wanting freedom of religion, because along with the king, like, he would tell them, like, okay, you all need to be this religion, and
you all have to belong to the king, to the Church of England. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of people, and once again, that ties in with our American history. That's the reason why the Pilgrims came to America, was trying to be able to have freedom of religion. And so a lot of these wars were being fought over these different types of issues. And this William Mcbean actually fought in the War of Worcester, the Battle of Worcester. Worcester, however you pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
And it was actually the final battle of the Third Civil War of England.
So it was a lot of civil wars.
Yes, it was the final battle of this 11-year time frame of continual battles going on, continual war. And unfortunately, he was on the wrong side. Well, he was on the side that was defeated. And a lot of the people that were fighting on that side came from Scotland. Mm-hmm. And he was actually taken as a prisoner of war by the English, and then sent on a ship as a prisoner, and then an indentured servant to the Americas.
Yes.
So that's how he ended up in Jamestown. And after he reached America, he had to work as an indentured servant for we're not sure how many years. And then at that point, he was free, and he then ended up becoming a very successful man in that area. So pretty interesting stories of how our family ended up in America, at least this line. So, as you know, we introduced last week, we are going to have a word, or we decided a phrase, because that's what we picked out this time, to represent the ancestors that we have been discussing. And in preparation for this...
In preparation for anything, you gotta do research. So, we decided to watch the Disney movie Brave to do research.
Because, of course, it's historically accurate, right?
It's not. We got nothing from that, except for this phrase. So...
we loved this phrase.
So, our fate lives within us. You only have to be brave enough to see it.
And we liked this phrase because we felt like a couple of these people showed this. Mm-hmm. For instance, William Mcbean. He was an indentured servant. He could have allowed that to define him for his entire life. But he didn't. His fate, he decided what his fate was going to be as soon as he was free to do his own thing. He worked hard, and became a very successful man.
And same with James the First. He was held captive for 18 years, and that could be very depressing and kind of weigh down on a person. But he didn't let that determine his fate, and he went and he found true love while being captive. It was great.
Very cool. Anyway, so we thought that was kind of a fun quote. So, especially during this time, and even in our country where there's so much upheaval and going on, and where people sometimes feel like they don't have opportunities they want to because of the situation that they're in. And so it's a good reminder to all of us that we can determine our own destinies.
Yes. Now, the scripture for the week, I picked it out. It's great. Also, so we didn't go with the most serious of scriptures this week, but everyone needs some lighthearted times. All right. So it's from 1 Kings chapter 1, verse 40.
Mm-hmm.
And all the people came up after him, and the people piped with pipes and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth rent with the sound of them.
We loved how they were talking about pipes. The people piped and rejoiced with great joy. And the Scottish people love their bagpipes. It's an important part of their culture.
Bagpipes.
Bagpipes. And if you have been around bagpipes, you can feel how it vibrates the earth. And it does bring a sense of joy. And so we thought that was a fun scripture to go along with our Scottish ancestors. And then once again, we are showing just a little suggestion we have for a fun activity that you could do for family night tonight or whenever you wanted to. We are encouraging you to sit down with your family and create your very own family crest. And we sat down yesterday with our family, and we had Tyler and his girlfriend Taylor with us, and we started putting together our family crest. We were a little lucky because Taylor is an artist, and so we gave her the ideas, and she took off, and we kind of came up with a basic idea, and then she's going to keep working on it. I'm hoping to actually get it printed off and everything. But it was really fun to decide what characteristics, what thoughts, what words, what scriptures that we wanted to be that would represent the Jeff and Rebecca Call family. And we thought that it might be something fun for you to create a legacy, a crest that helps remind us of who we are and where we came from, including our amazing Scottish ancestors.
And while you are making the crest, you can look up Scottish phrases. There's some really fun ones, like Moni a Mickle Max a Muckle, which basically is look after the pennies and the dollars will look after themselves. But there's so many fun ones.
And I'm getting really good at saying them. That's crazy. Anyway, we're discovering that it's taking a little bit longer to do these presentations because there's so much information. Sorry, this one's about 23 minutes.
Yeah, we were originally planning on them being like 5 to 10 minutes, but that is obviously not happening.
And then we also, the amount of research that it's taking to put all these together, we've decided that it's going to be more realistic for us to do
2 or 3
of these a week. So our daily ones was a little bit ambitious. I do need to clean my house now and then.
We realized we need to have a life outside of this. So.
Even though it's so fun, we would do it.
It is!
So we will continue to let you know when each installment comes out.
Yes.
But we hope you enjoy learning about your Scottish ancestors today.
Yes.
Love you all. Bye.
May you long may your limerick.
Bye.